Hello, welcome to another crypto chart. I'm Fausto Botelho, broadcasting from Brazil. What about you? Where are you from? Tell me in the comments below. Here we practice a simple technical analysis and try to find out what are the logical indications charts give us about crypto assets. So, sorry for missing last week's video. I had some problems and I'm also rethinking the channel. See if I split and have one channel with videos in Portuguese and one channel with videos only in English. Tell me what you think about in the comments too. I will appreciate that. And if you're not a subscriber, please subscribe to the channel. And don't forget to click the bell in order to be advised whenever I upload another video. So let's take a look in the S&P that is apparently telling us that the virus is over. Is it? Well, that's what the S&P is telling us. Look at that. That was the beginning of the virus, and well, that was the beginning. All right, so we're 2 weeks already from the beginning. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. We're in Thursday, and this is a candle called Hanging Man. It's a doji, which means the market. It means an indecision of the market. Bulls and bears are undecided whether who's winning the battle, and that usually happens in tops of the market. So that's an indication of a probable top in the S&P. Another one. But we have to confirm that with tomorrow's candle. Anyway, there is a yellow light lit in the S&P. The Nasdaq also is showing us that everything is okay because you see we're going to all-time high already. Again today, all-time high in the Nasdaq 100 I'm talking about, and this is the one, and this is the chart indexed by the CPI. So I take inflation out of this period from 86 on. From 86 on, just for you to have an idea, let's take a look here and see what happened to the inflation. Is it significant? Well, we're talking about 144% of inflation from 86 until now. So it is meaningful indeed, yeah. And here's the Dow Jones, the long-term chart of the Dow Jones that I bring from 1913 weekly chart. We see that it is up in the sky, and well, depending on how the market closes tomorrow, that's the weekly chart, but we've had a fantastic reversal here. So that's the S&P telling us that it is very strong. Is the economy strong? Well, that I don't know, but the thing is that the market doesn't give a shit to what's happening in the world, to the US debt, most probably because the money that is being poured in the market is leaking into the stock market, of course, and lots of other things too, like companies buying its own stock and things like that. It is artificial, in my opinion, totally artificial, this upward movement, but we don't know until when it will go. I thought maybe the virus would be the trigger point for the S&P, but it didn't happen. So let's now take a look in some of the commodities. For instance, oil that is giving us, well, first gold. You see, gold came down and it's starting to go up again. And so I think this, what we're seeing here was just a pullback to this former resistance line, 1550. And I think I still have my analysis that this was a bottom formation, an inverted hand and shoulders that projects this upward objective of 1800, which I think the market is going to reach. Now let's take a look in oil. Oil price, WTI. which broke these resistance, the support, very important support level here at 51. And it's now accumulating in something that it's probably going to be a downward flag or something like that. That's very serious for oil because it projects oil at $43. And that's very bad for us here in Brazil because our company, Petrobras, has a lot of pre-salt oil extracted from the pre-salt, which is a expensive operation, and depending on the price of oil, it doesn't pay to take the oil out of there. So let's see what happens to oil, but for the moment it's not indicating, and that's what interests us that are on cryptos but follow the most important assets like the S&P, because if the S&P starts to crash, I think, as I said many times here in the video, I think a small fleet of the flight for quality will eventually land in the small airport of the cryptos, and there's $100 trillion in world stocks. So 1% of that is 1 trillion, and 1 trillion compared to 250 billions around that level, which is the market cap of all the crypto space. If 1% of the market, the stock market, comes to cryptos, that can make the market explode. Also, if we think of 10% of gold is 8 trillion. 10% of gold is another 800 billion compared to 250 billion. It's a lot also. So there's a huge potential in crypto. But we're here not to talk about fundamental analysis, and yes, to talk about technical analysis, and I'm going to be showing you the chart of Bitcoin, which whenever I see there's a megaphone here, pumping in my ears, buy it, buy it, buy it, because the possibilities are limitless. So back here to gold, that's how is it's doing. And now I'm going to show you the Shanghai index, which is this one here. And we see that it is recovering, but far from what's happening in the US, right? It is recovering, but slowly. Now I'm going to show you the chart of the virus. Nothing very special. There's been 3,000 cases a day as of today. We're so far free from that here in South America. No case yet, although in the US there's lots of cases. Somebody told me that the virus wouldn't spread in the southern hemisphere because it's too hot, but I don't think so, because Australia, the virus is already there, right? These are cases, actual cases. And I think what's releasing the market is that the recovery rate is much bigger than the deaths. And the deaths, if you take 28,000, let me do the calculation here. 28,353 and 565 percentage of total 500. It's 1.79% of dead cases. So that's what's causing the S&P to rise a lot. So let's go to the cryptos now, and starting, of course, with Bitcoin. Let's just remember what's the situation for Bitcoin in the weekly chart that comes from 2010. I just remind you guys that didn't see it before here in the video, that in terms of thinking of a long-term trend cycle, we've never, no technical analyst analyze a trend that starts at zero. Every stock that has been analyzed, and every commodity, every stock market rate, forex rate, starts from a price already. So Bitcoin starts from zero. So I think we shouldn't count this first upward movement of Bitcoin, which is this one here. Starts from 0.06 cents of a dollar. Then it goes up to around 37, comes down to near 2, and then stabilizes at $5. So this, I think, is the beginning for Bitcoin. Starts at $5, a decent price for Bitcoin. Yes, because it's now worth almost $10,000, right? So considering that, so if we eliminate this first movement, then so far, if we think of Elliott Wave theory, we've had so far, and look at that, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, making wave 1, ABC, wave 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, wave 3, wave 4, and wave 5. The most, so we would be in wave 5, and that would have been wave 1 of wave 5, wave 2 of wave 5, and so we're entering wave 3 of wave 5. Now, going to the daily chart, the most important thing that I can extract nowadays from my charts, actually, it's becoming less important now as time goes by and the market goes up. But the most important thing, as I was saying, is that this was a corrective wave. Look at that, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's an impulsive wave downwards, would be wave 1. The descending triangle by nature is a corrective wave, and that's of course an impulsive wave. So ABC, it's an impulse, it's a corrective wave. So yes, this was a corrective wave, so we should expect another impulsive wave, right? So I was very certain that we were starting a new upward movement, and for that reason I have some expectations for that upward movement, right? So is this a probable wave 1 of this what I think is wave 5? Yeah, let's go back to the weekly chart. And yes, because if you take the measurement here of this upward movement, you're gonna see that you can compare that with other wave 1s. Let's see, where's wave 1? Here it is. Here it is. Look, it's very comparable. This wave 1 here, right? Where's the other one? It's over here. Yeah, comparable to this one was a little bigger, but yeah, comparable. So where's the market going? That's the question. $1 million question, right? Well, if it's really starting wave 5, which is my analysis, then if it just and let's do this here. Let's do this. So if the market just repeats in wave 5 what it has so far done in the last portion of wave 3, so I mean wave 5 of wave 3, which is this blue segment here, then we're looking for $60-some thousand. That's $66,000, something like that. If the market repeats wave 3, which is this all the blue segment here, we're looking for $330,000, and if the market repeats wave 1, we're looking for $780,000 or $750,000. Which is very, very, very close, a tiny little bit away from $1 million a Bitcoin, right? So yes, for that reason, I am very, 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 very bullish in Bitcoin. And there's something else. I think as the US is entering a dangerous, a mined field, a very dangerous field, you know, imagining that you can carry your debt forever and that your debt won't bring inflation. I don't believe that. And so I think there's going to be a new standard in the world, for the world commerce, which is going to be Bitcoin, not the dollar anymore. I think that, but China wants that, Russia wants that, probably India wants that. All the big countries, they want to get rid of the dollar. They don't want to have a trading partner that has the key to print the money that is used in foreign trade, right? They would very much like to have also the possibility. So nobody can have that key. So what are we gonna have? What are we gonna use? How about this new yellow little coin called Bitcoin, which is decentralized, censorship resistant, and it's been working for 10 years already with no possibility, no chance for anybody to have altered its ledger, which is the blockchain of Bitcoin, right? So that's what I think is going to happen. So for me, $1 million in Bitcoin for the price of Bitcoin fits perfectly, because you need some 17 to 20 trillion dollars in market cap for the money, for the coin, for the money that is going to be the new standard. And there is going to be 21 million Bitcoins only. Until another year, we're going to be with 19,000. We don't know if there's 19 million Bitcoins that has been so far created. So far until now, the 18 million have been created, right? So the thing is, 18. If Bitcoin goes to $1 million, then we're talking about 18 trillion, which fits, this idea of a new standard. Actually, I think that's what Satoshi Nakamoto wanted. He released his white paper talking about this thing about peer-to-peer, but it was not. He's probably not a fool. He's not. It's probably quite smart. So he would have figured out that if he would release a paper saying that he wanted to make another standard, a world standard for money, people would have done things that wouldn't have left Bitcoin come to where it is now. So I think he kind of disguised his real project was that with this peer-to-peer situation. So I don't think Bitcoin is going to be used to pay my coffee. There's other coins that could be used for that. Bitcoin is going to settle the banking transactions and the government transactions, and is going to be store of value for governments. And of course, the lucky guys that were able to buy 1 or 2 or 3 or whatever Bitcoins in the beginning, when it is worth less than, I was looking at the chart now, less than $10,000. Yeah, they're going to benefit from that. Yeah, indeed. So unfortunately, it's not my case. Just I have just a small amount of Bitcoin because I'm an entrepreneur here in Brazil. All my money is on my company. It's been tough for us here in Brazil because of all the high taxes that we pay. We pay a hell of a lot of money in taxes, but things are getting better. Thank God. I'm very bullish on Bitcoins, but let's take a look in the hourly chart now to see how's it doing right now. I like the 2-hour chart, but we can see the hourly chart too. We use the hourly chart to define our stops. Actually, we have recommended so far Bitcoin here in Calls Cryptos. Here's the recommendation. It was done. Didn't you know that we have a signals service? Yes, we do, and you can have it. We're going to be working for you. I work every day in order. Actually, I trade a little bit for myself, and also we have this team. We've been doing that for 7 years already. We have a lot of experience. We're going to put our experience in your service, and you're going to receive in Telegram, in your software, in your cell phone, our calls. Bling bling. You're going to take a look, and you're going to see the signal. And soon enough, hopefully, we're going to be adding a AI, artificial intelligence, to our signals. Actually, she has a name. She's called Annie. We're talking to these friends of ours that created Annie, and Annie is going to receive, actually, you're going to be talking to Annie by Telegram, and he's going to ask you for your API key from Binance, for the moment Binance, and starting BitMEX soon. But for the moment Binance, you're going to have to supply your API keys for Annie. And you're going to define your risk per trade, which we recommend be no bigger than 1% of your total capital. You're going to have, we're going to sell a subscription for the amount of maximum 2 Bitcoin. So if you want to have more than 2 Bitcoins, you have to make another subscription. But it's very cheap. It's less than $30 a month. So whenever, and you can also tell, make arrangements with Annie via Telegram about whether you want her to execute the trades that we suggest, with that maximum risk per trade automatically. So she will receive the calls and she will execute and just inform you. Or if you want to have the last word, if you want to eventually choose the signals that we send that you're going to accept and those that you want. So this is it. Back to the signal that we sent. We sent it over here whenever we thought the market was breaking this accumulation here. But of course, we're based on all these long-term analysis that we've done so far, right? So the stop is here. We're probably moving the stop up here. I just want this upward flag to be broken, and then we're probably going to be putting the stop over here. So yes, the market broke this very important support level at 9,600 that it found over there, right? Let me put it in a daily chart here for you to see the resistance here in the over here, the special pen here. It's right over here, right? So that's why, bottom, top, and that's what the market was actually testing. So I wouldn't like to see Bitcoin coming back down below 9,500. That's why we're probably putting our stop in below 9,500, because as it broke this resistance level, if it comes back, unless it's just a pinch here, unless it just breaks and comes back. But if it breaks and stays below 9,500, then it will have produced a bull trap for us, even if it's only in the intraday chart. We would like to be looking at the daily chart. So if we close above that, which I think it's going to happen, I'm recording this video at UTC 9:46 p.m. UTC, which is 6:46 Brazil, because we're three hours below before. So we still have another 2 hours and 20 minutes to the close, but it seems that the market is breaking this resistance. I would imagine that it could easily close above 10,000, testing 10,000 for tomorrow. But if it closes above and then it comes back, let us not forget that that would be producing a bull trap. I don't think that's going to happen, but we should keep an eye very well open on that possibility. That's what the technical analysts should do. We should be proactive in terms of what we may expect to happen. So having broken this resistance back to the hourly chart here, it wouldn't be a bad idea for us to put the stop below this, below 9,500. But as I said, I'm waiting for the market to break these upward, that what looks like an upward flag. And so if it goes here to the 9,900, that's okay. Then we'll just raise the stop. My stop, it's around here. Now I'll be raising the stop to here, which is gonna place us in a very comfortable situation. No loss or minor insignificant loss as we entered at 95.70. So now let's take a look at the cryptos that we're let me show you the cryptos that we've recommended so far. We're starting with Bitcoin Cash. Let me put these all in daily chart. Are you interested in this software that I'm using? Well, that's the software of my company. We founded this company 36 years ago, 1983. And so far we've got a lot of experience. Still don't have a iOS and Android software for you to use it in your cell phone, but our software in Windows works beautifully, as you can see here. What I do is I have the privilege of being able to be in touch with my TI development team, and whenever I see something, a mistake, a little bug, I just call the guys and they just like that fix whatever or produce other tools. We have a very interesting tool, which is a tool for you to practice position sizing, which I think is the most important thing you can think of in terms of being successful in this very risky speculation business. You set your stops just like that. Look, let me just Control V, and I just made another a copy of this chart, right? So let us imagine that I want to buy Bitcoin Cash. So I grab the dealer method, which is our method of trading the markets, and it gives me a cursor with which I set up the stop. So I clicked and dragged, and it found the lower price, which it tells me is 35.92. So I put my stop a little bit below that level, and then let's say that I think the market is going up here to 0.1, right? Bitcoin Cash 0.1 Bitcoin. So I just cut that 0.1 correct, and then considering that I have a config here where I said that I have 2.08 Bitcoin, right? I can also use that tool to trade US dollars or reais here in Brazil, but he understands that as I'm trading something in Bitcoin, I should use this capital here. So he plans the position for me, and he tells me to buy 2.25 Bitcoin Cash, because considering the stop, which is around 21%. Yeah, I placed the stop 21%. Look at that. Stop's 21%. If I would place the stop over here, look. If I would place the stop over here, below this other level here, this other bottom here, then by asking for the planning of the position, then he would suggest me to buy 3.7 Bitcoin Cash with those 2.08 Bitcoins that I have, okay? And the idea is that if you were eventually stopped, if the position is stopped over here, you would be losing 1% of your capital. You would be investing, how much is that? Well, you would be investing 8.11% of your capital, because by doing that, if you lose, what's the distance of the stop? Now the stop now is 12.33% away from this level. Look at this. We can see it here. See, its stop is 12.9% away. So if you want to lose only 1%, well, anyway, the thing is, that's the most important thing one can think of. And you know how many people think of that? Very few. I would say 5% of people that trading in the market right now would think of that. Most of the people, 95% of the people, do not calculate. Actually, people, you know what they do? People put as a constant the size of their position. Yeah, people trade like $1,000. I'm going to trade $1,000 of this coin, and that's it. Or else people are going to trade 5 lots of the S&P, or so they fix their capital. If they fix their capital, considering, of course, we're talking about traders here that use stops, okay? If you don't use stop, then you don't belong to this conversation. You belong to the buy and hold other group of people, which is in highly risk. And actually talking about the buy and hold, these people were very badly accustomed, because last time the market came down, it was on the subprime, and it was ping pong. because it came down, and then the market, the government entered, injecting capital and quantitative easings and so. So it's been less time. It's been, first of all, it's been 9 to 20. It's been 11 years. 2009, 2020, 11 years that the market rises, it's going up. So people forgot. There's people trading in the market nowadays that don't even saw a bear market. They don't know that bear markets exist, you know. And worst of all, last time the market dropped, it paid to hold, even though the market came down for like 60% or something like that. You know, it paid for you to hold. But anyway, so back to our conversation here. Not to make a long story. Considering that you're a trader and you use stops, considering that the stop sometimes it's at, just like I showed you here a few moments ago, right? Sometimes the stop is 5, 6, 7% away. Sometimes it's 15% away. So how much of your money you're going to put in that position? All of your money? So if you're stopped, you're going to lose what, 12, 13, 15, 14, 10%? You can't lose too much. You can't lose. The most important thing is for you, don't lose money. You can't lose. You know why? Because if you lose 10% of your capital, you're going to have to win 11% of your new capital. Yes, you have 100, you lose 10%, you come back to 90. Now 10 is 11.1% of 90, right? So you lose 10, you have to earn 11% of your new capital in order to just to return to what you had. If you lose 15, you're gonna have to earn 17.5. And if you lose 20, ciao, because you have to win 25%. Yes, 100, lose 20, you come down to 80. Now 20, which is needed to come back to 100, is 25% of 80. You know, when you're going to make 25% after having lose 20% of your capital? Never. I have a saying, people don't go broke because they lose money. They go broke, they go bankrupt because when they try to recoup what they've lost, you know? So that's what's inside our software, our platform. It's still in Windows. Actually, we're doing some VC, venture capitalism, mergers and acquisitions, M&A. You see, if we put on a partner that is going to pour money in the company, and then we're going to be able to produce the software you deserve. Yeah, iOS and Android. Until then, we do have these, as I told you, we do have these service that we publish signals, right? And for that, look at that. I use this hidden button here. Of course, you wouldn't have that. Only people authorized by our login is able to have that. And I can then publish that Bitcoin Cash recommendation. I just publish it. And a recomendação de compra, that means a buy recommendation. And it's written in Portuguese, but it's coming in English. And then you receive that, and you also receive in your Telegram, you also receive a pling pling here, and in order for you to see, actually in the Telegram, let me just find calls here. Enfoque calls crypto. You also receive this HTML that we call the blade, and also the Y of the trade, and also charts. Because here in Enfoque, in our terminal, whenever you receive that, if you click here, see chart, then it opens the chart that we use to produce these recommendations. Actually, there is more here. Now let me come back to the recommendation for real that we made, which is this one here. All our recommendations have these icon here, exclamation icon, with which whenever you mouse over, it tells you the why, the technical analysis, motive, reason that we made the recommendation. So our recommendations are transparent. There's no bots thinking of that. There's real people following the market and advising you for the best options, for the best recommendations. So far we've recommended Bitcoin Cash because here in the daily chart it produced a upward ascending triangle. The objective is over here, 0.065. We today recommended BNB because it broke this resistance line. Actually, I'm not looking at this support line anymore, but I'm taking a very good look at this support level that is holding BNB so far. And more than that, it produced us very important, right? Look at that. That's a top in 2018, not top, accumulation here, bottom here in so far in September last year, and now we've had a sort of a rectangle, and the market is breaking these resistance level apparently. So first objective is 0.00247925 actually. Then there's Bitcoin, then there is Dash that we've also recommended, because we see here after this huge upward movement, we see a symmetrical triangle. And then there's EOS, which we also saw a ascending triangle. Objective is here 60,000 Satoshis. And then there's Ethereum, which we made a very nice recommendation when the market was 0.019347 over here, because you see it broke this resistance trend line and then it produced a rectangle, and up we go. We're near the objective, and it's very nice to be able to hourly chart. That's what we use to keep these stops here. Each one of these stops, well, that's the first one that came with the original blade, the original recommendation, and then we sent another recommendation suggesting the change of the stop from here to here to here to here to here to here, which means now we're locking a 9.5% profit, and yes, we're expecting the market to go there to the objective. So do we liquidate whenever the market reaches the objective? No. We just tighten the stop. We put the stop, breathing in the neck of the market right here, very, very close. Eventually, we use a trailing stop. But why liquidate a position just because it reached the stop? Oh, eventually, if we in the beginning see that the objective is in a very, 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 very much important resistance level, then we just put on a take profit order at that point, and whenever it reaches, let's see if this is the case. How's that? Follow me. Come on, follow me. Well, I have more optimistic objectives for Ethereum. We're talking about the second coin, right? And that's a downward trend, and it made a sort of if it breaks this level here, it's gonna have produced a we can see it here, a double bottom in the weekly chart. So back to the daily chart. If it goes to its first Fibonacci retraction of this downward trend level, we're talking about another, from the objective to here, another 56% upward movement. So no, that's not the case. Let's we have time, and actually our positioning is in a nice profit of as I said. Around what's that? I have to come to the hourly chart here in order to calculate correctly. 9.3%, 9.4%. So let's see what the market does. Let's not imagine what the market will do. Let's use, you know, these port, these, you know, connection that God gave us, our eyes. Let's look at the market whenever it reaches the objective. If it reaches and you know, closes in the high, and then the other day it starts, you know, flagging up, why the hell are you gonna liquidate your position? Because, you know, I know why. Because people are very anxious, and because it's very sweet, nice, wonderful to realize a position with a profit. Hell, you shouldn't liquidate, you shouldn't limit, you should not limit your profits, because you're gonna need these extra profits in order to pay for your debts, because they're coming. You know, your losses are coming. You're a trader, aren't you? So you're gonna have losses, and profits, and you end up having a profit. You know why? Because you lose very small in your profit, in your losses, and you're open. Yeah, how about deal with the market, you know? Because, you know, something very interesting in the market is that you make the rules. Yeah, you make the rules. That's a trap that the market puts there for you. That's a psychological trap. You know why? Because there's no place in Earth that there's no rules. You go to the shopping center, you go to the mall, there's rules. You go to school, there's rules. To work, there's rules. To the bus, there's rules. Train rules. Airplane rules. Airport rules. Everything, everywhere, there's rules. You have to follow rules. In the market, no rules. You trade whatever you want, whenever you want, as much money as you may have. You place stops, you don't place stops at your disposal. That's bad. But there's the good thing. If you're to make the rules, why don't you make the rules like the casino does the rules? You know what? Blackjack, casino has 4 to 5% more chances than the normal player. And with that, considering that he won't let the dealer break, that he won't let the casino break, so that means putting a limit on bets. In the end of the year, the casino there in Hollywood, in the US, whatever, I forgot the name of the city of the casinos. Oh God, you know, if people play $100 million in their posts, in their blackjack posts, he's gonna make $4 to $5 million of profits, and that's it. It's statistics, you know. So use that in your favor, you know. Trade with the chances in your favor, which is our dealer method of trading the market. It's composed by 2 items. You trade with the chances in your favor, and you limit your risk, and that's it. Short term, you may lose. Long term, you're gonna win, man. Considering that you're gonna provide statistics with enough statistic events in order to help statistics work in your favor. You have the chances in your favor. You just have to, you know, see, got a Bitcoin here. Okay, now I have a dollar, silver dollar here. Crown and face, right? So let's make a bet. I bet that it's going to be 50% of crowns. And I do the rules. Yeah, you can only bet in round numbers. So I said 50%, you can choose 49 or 51. You're not dumb, right? So you're going to pick 49 or 51. 51, okay. If I turn this coin 10 times, eventually you're going to win. Eventually I'm going to win. But if I turn this coin 1,000,000 times, there is not a single possibility for you to win, because it's going to be 50% crowns, statistically. So that's what you produce whenever you trade with the chances in your favor, right? Well, I'm sorry about these thoughts of an old guy, old trader. I've been trading since studied technical analysis, begun at a seminar in 1977 in Cambridge. Yeah, long time. Trading, teaching technical analysis, and helping you to improve. It's a big pleasure for me to put all the knowledge that I gained away. I do that for pleasure, with a lot of pleasure. And yes, I sell my company. I mean the products of our company, which is the platform. Courses also. I have presential courses, and I'm gonna have, hopefully, this year I'll be able to provide you with a English spoken technical analysis course, and also the recommendation, which is the other product that we have. So that's for Ethereum. Ethereum is breaking the resistance here again. And the next one is Zcash. Zcash, we also made a recommendation. We saw this as a upward flag. Stop is over here. Whenever the flag is broken, we probably raising the stop to over here. The objective is 100,000. What's that? A million satoshis. A million satoshis. Yes, because I have to regulate better here. Well, never mind. Or else I won't finish this video here. So which are the cryptos that we're taking a look at? We're taking a look at all these. I'm going to be very quick in each of them. Well, that's an upward flag. Auger, we're taking a look for that reason. If it breaks this, it will probably pick this resistance trend line here. 60% upward movement possibility. BitShares, well, that looks to me like an upward flag, so we're keeping an eye on it. And all you have to do is go to the hourly chart and see whenever this thing here gives you an upward indication. Next one is Cardinal, ADA, which we think it's in a ascending triangle, testing its resistance trend line. Probable resistance trend line, because if there's only 2 touches in this line here, is not very trustable. But these these ascending triangle. That you can see better if you go to the hourly chart. Look at that. It's telling us that market is probably going up, so there's an opportunity there. Also, Chainlink. Well, Chainlink, I'm a fan of Link, but even though, because I think this is an ascending triangle. Look at that. Tops at the same level and bottoms at higher levels. So. And this looks like a rectangle or something like that. And these look like a flag. So going to the hourly chart, that's the flag that I showed you. All these here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It's the actual, it's this little flag here. So I'm keeping an eye on that. Whenever it breaks this resistance trend line, I'm probably going to be recommending or buying or whatever. Ethereum Classic, well, it goes up and up and up and up and away, and this looks like an upward flag. I think it's going further up. Keeping an eye on it. Engine, well, it had a fantastic upward movement that I managed to lose. It managed to escape out of my hands. And now, what is it going to do now? This is not, well, this is a dark cloud formation, candlestick formation, meaning a reversal, but eventually it will evolve to a upward flag, and so we're keeping an eye on that too. Oh my god, how could I miss this movement of ITCOIN? Fantastic, isn't it? Well, the day to buy was here, but we were eventually sleeping at that. It happened at night, so I was expecting a decent flag for me to enter, but it didn't give us a decent flag. It gave us this shooting star here, and I was expecting it to make a pull back to this line, but it didn't. And then look at that. And that's from the flag, from the potential flag upwards. It was 165%. Gee, man. Look at that. Well, let's take a look at Fibonacci. I actually just reached the first Fibonacci level. So, but ITCOIN is something that is helping the old economy become tokenized, which I think is going to be explosive in terms of utility and so far. So back here, next one is Lisk. Let's take a look at the long term. So we've had these resistance trend line here broken, and after that we had this flag, and now we're waiting for another flag because as well, if you draw Fibonacci lines here, there's still 91% if it just reaches the first Fibonacci contraction level. Litecoin, well, I'm keeping a very open eye on Litecoin because I think this is a, here in the hourly chart, is a symmetrical triangle, and if you go to the daily chart, is a pennant or a flag, right? The mass, the flag, everything fits. Testing these resistance level here at 760,000 satoshis. And that's it. I'm very impressed on Litecoin because there's another thing we have to consider. It produced a descending triangle. It broke the descending triangle and it came back, broke the resistance line of the descending triangle with an upward flag, which is very, very bullish. And let us not forget that this is a bear trap, which is one of the most important indications technical analysis can give you. So, keeping an eye on Litecoin. Next one is Monero. Monero, look at that. It broke this resistance trend line. So this trend here is finito. Bye. Hasta la vista, baby. And now, wow, look at that. For the first Fibonacci correction level, we still have 45%. Not bad, huh? Not bad, yeah. So, and that's probably an upward flag. So one should keep an eye on that. In the hourly, where's my hourly? Well, something went wrong here with my hourly chart. Let's see the 15-minute chart. No, I don't know what happened. Never mind. Next one is NEM. NEM, look at that. A beautiful downward channel, and it's testing its resistance trend level. It already broke this resistance level here with a flag. I think it's very bullish, NEM as well. NEO, Chinese Ethereum. Hey, this looks like a bottom. A inverted head and shoulders, left shoulder, head, right shoulder in a as a symmetrical triangle. Let's see what happens here when the market is testing this resistance level here. Let's put the hourly chart. Now this one works, and well, what is this here? Maybe I don't know, accumulation, continuation, accumulation. I don't know. Back to the daily chart here in NEO. I'm trusting that is happening after the resistance trend line being broke. So let's take a look. What's the possibilities for NEO here? Well, possibilities are around, for first Fibonacci, 90% upward movement. Not bad, huh? Yeah, Raven coins also in this range, with which looks like, because of this bear trap, looks like could be a bottom, exquisite bottom. But anyway, we will have to wait for it to. Actually, I'm not taking a look at Raven coin anymore. Ripple. So, hey, we broke this resistance trend line here, and it looks like it's flagging up. How much could it go up? We could place Fibonacci in here and put it down here. So Fibonacci level would be there, and from here to first Fibonacci level, 100%. Not bad, huh? Not bad at all. 100% is the possibility, is the potential for nothing, for Ripple to go up. And well, let me just delete this here. And then the next one is Tron, last one, I think. Well, Tron went up very fast today. Didn't give nobody a chance because, you know, it broke the support line and then it poof. That's the 15. No, that's the hourly chart. But look, this is the 15-minute bar. So, but you know, it went until it, back to the daily here, until it tested, it reached these resistance level here. So it's doing what I would expect a decent coin to do for an old guy like me, you know, flagging up. So we take a look at the flag. Whenever the flag is about to break, we got it, get it. So I think this is it, my friends. Yes, we're back to Augur. I thank you very much for having watched a video until now. Tell your friends about our channel, about the Brazilian old guy here that do these technical analysis. Subscribe to the channel. Don't forget again to click the bell to be advised of our next uploads. And I'll see you next time. Ciao.